What is up? What's going on? Welcome to the very first episode of Too Pop to Handle. It's so exciting and so crazy to finally be saying that. I have literally been talking my friends, everyone's ear off about, I want to start this podcast. I want to do this podcast. I'm going to do it. I have the name. I bought the equipment, all these things over the last year and a half. And finally, I'm actually sitting down and talking into the microphone that I bought literally in June. It's October, so you do the math on that. That's 4 going on 5 months of this thing being sitting in my nightstand, just doing nothing. So I'm excited to finally be giving it some airtime and to be doing this. To anyone who might be tuning in who isn't a friend or a family or knows me through one of their friends, hi, my name is Andrew. I am 28 years old. I live in Manhattan, and I've pretty much been chronically online since I can remember. I've been, tweeting my pop culture and pop music and movies, TV show opinions for, over 15 years, I want to say. I made my Twitter in 2009, so whatever that math is, I'm not good at quick math, but whatever that math is there, I have been, tweeting away, doing my thing, even back when it was texting 40404. So we've been here a while. I've, been online. So I figured this was the next step in that chronically online pipeline. So, Tumblr, Twitter obsessed teenager turns podcast host in their late 20s. It just feels right, it just makes sense. So I'm super, super stoked to be doing this. Like I said, I have been engulfed in pop culture for as long as I can remember. I'm a huge fan of so many different artists and actors and actresses, and just always feel in the know, and I need, I'm up to date on what's going on. So it just felt like coming on here and talking into a microphone and a camera for an hour a week. Why not? I'm doing it anyway, texting my friend, doing that. So I figured, let's start a podcast, let's do it, and I'm so, so excited. So I think the best way to kind of tackle this is just diving in and starting it. So pretty much my idea is to kind of pick a few stories, few topics every week, and just kind of tackle them top down, give my hot takes, my opinions, and just kind of, chat about it, start a conversation, and go from there. So that being said, I can't record or start a pop culture podcast in today's day and age. It's October 2023 without the first thing I talk about being Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. It is just, they're the names on everybody's lips. They're on every news article. You refresh your Instagram, your TikTok, your Twitter, your this, your that, whatever. Wherever you are, they are in your face. They were on the cover of the New York Post, I believe, this morning. And it's just it's insane. So before we dive into them, just some background. If you don't know me, I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. I have been a huge Taylor Swift fan for years. And I've seen her. I've been to multiple of her tours. I've met her before, which, was super exciting. So I've been a fan. I'm not just someone who's kind of jumping into this because the Eras tour or the, whatever it may be. So I feel like I have the right grounds to kind of stand on and give the opinions on these things. So obviously, Taylor's dating life has always been a topic of conversation, whether it's public or not. Even somehow when she was dating Joe and it was private, I feel like it was still are they married? Oh my God, they snuck away. They're secret engaged. But the girl can't have a dating life without some speculations and news stories and this or that. So that being said, I at first was a little apprehensive. I was I don't want to just be obsessed with this relationship. I don't want to be oh my God, Endgame, we love them, they're everything, and people get excited. I understand. So I was definitely a little I took a step back from it, and I was I'm not going to Endgame by Taylor Swift this yet. I'm gonna just kind of let it ride out, let them have fun, do their thing, and I was all for it. And then the photo of her kissing Travis on the cheek came out, and that was just a full send. I felt like I was on a roller coaster. I was sitting there waiting. Everybody else was going around the roller coaster, full speed, flipping around, doing their thing on this Travis and Taylor roller coaster, and I was still waiting for my ride to take off, and it has taken off. That photo, I kid you not, I haven't stopped thinking about it. She looks so cute. He looks so happy. And the fact that this all started with a friendship bracelet and a dream is wild to me. This picture of them, I can't get over. And then I believe it was today or yesterday, within the last 48 hours, Travis's dad did an interview with People and said that, like, oh my God, getting to know Taylor has been such a delight. She's so pleasant. She's so this, so that. So it's kind of crazy to see that, like, we're getting kind of from both angles. Like, usually I feel like with a Taylor relationship, it's very private. We don't really get anything. And this is different, where we're kind of getting everything. We're getting angles from his side, from her side, from whoever source is, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, there's always people saying things, but to be getting information from him and his family, you know, he has this podcast with his brother every week. They haven't really talked about it much, but, like, I'm sure eventually something's going to, you know, it's going to be talked about more on there. So it's just really cool, as someone who's been a follower and a fan of Taylor for so long, to see this angle of a new relationship. And just, it looks like fun. Like, they're just having a good time. They're doing their thing. And, like, is it overexposed? Yeah, it's everywhere. And there's days where I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I'm like, all right, cool, we get it, they're dating. But then, like, seeing her cheering him on, I'm like, oh, like, I get it. Like, that tweet that's going around, or it's been all over the place, and people are like, they would have ran a homecoming committee. Like, she would have been homecoming queen, a homecoming king, and they would have had that homecoming parade float. I don't know if my high school did, like, homecoming parades, and we built the float. They would have whipped us into shape. She would have ran that homecoming committee like an army, the two of them. And I'm kind of here for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's very much giving, like, she's cheer captain and there's somebody else on the bleachers, like Maddie Healy, Joe Alwyn, they're on the bleachers and she's cheer captain, cheering on her football man. She finally got him. It's been a few years, it's been a long time coming, if you will, but we're here and I'm so here for it. So super stoked to kind of see where this develops, and I hope they're just, like, having fun, and it seems like they are. He's living his best, like, Sue Sylvester life in these tracksuits. She's, like, she's in New York again, and just, like, you know, doing her thing and living her little, like, football fantasy, and I'm here for it. You know, I am. I'm full send. I'm in. I try so hard to, like, not be into it and be like, no, I'm just in it for Taylor's music, but it's everywhere. I can't not be. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just enjoy the ride. So excited to kind of see just, like, how this keeps developing. And just to kind of bring it up one more time, because I can't stop thinking about it. That picture, oh my God, the picture of her kissing him on the cheek. I can't get over it. I can't. I love it. On the topic of Miss Taylor Swift, this is, the day I'm recording this is October 24th. So that means this Friday, October 27th, 1989, Taylor's version comes out. Now, obviously, this is my first episode of this, so if there's anyone listening, maybe who didn't know me during the original 1989 release, or, you know, I don't know, just doesn't understand, like, this is a big deal. I made this album my entire personality trait. I bought a Polaroid camera. I was taking Polaroid pictures and writing my initials AN 1995, like my birth year, on it. I was obsessed with this album. And I was a Taylor fan prior to this album, but it was such, like, a dive into pop music for me that it was like, it took it to a new level. Like, obviously Red, she dabbled with the pop music, but, like, I feel like 1989 was really when she just was like, nope, we're done, full send, let's do it. And I love, clearly I'm doing a podcast about pop culture, pop music. You'll see, like, if it's a pop beat and a pop girl singing it, I'm buying it. Case closed, end of discussion. Like, give me a good pop song and you'll have me for life. So despite being a Taylor fan prior to that, 1989 really was, like, a bigger full send. I feel like where a lot of people who didn't like Taylor prior to, like, Folklore and Evermore, kind of, they got it after that. That, like, 1989, like, gave me that send into it more. And so for 1989, Taylor's version to now be coming out, what is it? 9 years later? 9 years later. It's so exciting. Obviously, all these re-recordings have been so exciting, but to now have this again, an album that really was such a big deal to me when it came out, I'm so stoked. With the re-records, Speak Now and 1989 have always been my two favorite Taylor albums, so to have them back to back feels like it was, like, catered just for me. So thank you, Taylor Swift. Thank you, whoever orchestrated putting my two favorite albums re-recorded back to back. Love you. But despite, you know, Speak Now's era being shorter than the Joe Jonas breakup phone call, we'll forgive her because she's feeding us. You know, we got the movie. She's on tour. She's doing, granted, 1,989 things I feel like are going on with her. I'll forgive Speak Now being a short-term era re-record because we're getting 1989 so quick after, and I'm super stoked. I was trying to come up with a list of like what I'm most excited for, and I don't know because I can't pick. Like I'm very much like an album like top to end person. Like the first time I listen to an album, I will not shuffle it. I feel like that's a common thing, but it's my thing. I've been like that forever. I can't change it. But like Slut! Exclamation point is a give it. How do I not start with it? You know what I mean? Like I'm having this dilemma that I haven't had with the re-records previously with the vault tracks. Usually with the vault tracks, I'm like, oh, I'm fine to wait. I can wait till I get to the end of the album and listen to them as like a treat at the end because I just want to hear the full album as a whole again, you know, and like discover what's new, discover the fun vocals, or if she does anything with the production, which she doesn't do too much with it, but you know, it's fun to listen and see what's going on. But this vault track is really, I'm excited to see like what's going on with it. So TBD on that. I'll definitely be posting and updating on our Instagram and Twitter, TikTok about like my thoughts, things like that. And then we'll talk about it again next week. So definitely excited to kind of dive into that and see this as like a new lens for 1989, which is an album that I love so dearly. Moving on, some other celebrity couple news. I almost didn't even want to talk about this. Actually, two more of the things I'm talking about are celebrity couples that I didn't really want to talk about, but like I have to talk about them I feel like the sooner I talk about it, I can nip it in the butt and then like move on. So first up, and this is kind of a double-edged story because I do want to talk about Wicked 20, which I'm super stoked about, but then also with that comes Ariana Grande and Ethan, whatever we want to call that relationship. So if you don't know, Wicked, the musical, is turning 20 this Monday, the October 30th. So everyone knows Wicked, obviously. Kristen Chenoweth, Idina Menzel were the originating roles of Elphaba and Galinda. So it is leading up to the week. So it's super, super exciting. They just did a whole interview. I believe it was with Variety, the two of them. They did like this really, really cute bathtub photo in the pink and green. Like Kristen had pink bubbles and Idina had like green water to kind of mimic their characters. So it's just super cool to kind of see all the old rehearsal images and, you know, information. Kristen has been posting, I feel like nonstop, and I'm here for it. I'm not complaining. Please keep it up. She's posting like opening night letters, popular original like rehearsals, and they're like, it's crazy. Like it's 20 years ago. And another thing about me, The Wizard of Oz is my favorite movie of all time, and it has been since I was 3. So Wicked obviously being a part of that like Oz community. Oh, I love it. I love the music. I've only seen it once on Broadway, but I listen to the soundtrack a lot. And I'm just like, I was a theater kid. I guess we can get that out of the way now. So it kind of makes sense why we're here, you know. I was a theater kid, so, you know, kind of all the pieces just kind of added up with Wicked and just things like that. So super, super excited to kind of see what's coming up with Wicked 20, excuse me. And I'm curious if Ariana is going to make any appearances at any of the shows. They're doing special shows this weekend. So I believe on Sunday they're doing a pink and a green showing. So it's supposed to have like older Glindas at the pink show, older Elphabas at the green show or something like that. And then Monday, which Monday's usually closed for Broadway. Like they go dark every Monday. It's just like, actually, I don't know why. I have no idea why there's not Broadway shows on Monday, but it's been like that forever. But since Monday is the 20th anniversary, they are doing a special show. So I'm really curious if Ariana, Cynthia, anyone from the cast is going to just show up, whether they're, I doubt performing because obviously it's like the movie, but and not the Broadway adaptation, but I am excited to kind of see what everyone does, and all the content they've been releasing for Wicked 20 has been super exciting. So I'm very excited to kind of see what this weekend brings. And now on to Ariana and Ethan. So they were spotted out at a restaurant in the city this weekend in Manhattan, which is why I'm thinking they're going to be doing something this weekend for Wicked 20 or next week at some point. But they were spotted. They were kind of low key. They had their backs to the camera. Like they weren't sitting and a point where you could really see either of their faces. It was more so their backs, but it's so weird. This was, not their first public appearance, but I want to say maybe their first public appearance in New York was that day. Like, not appearance, but first time being seen. People said that they saw them in like Disney World a few weeks ago. It was just the back of their heads, but this time, like, it's clear that it's him. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I love Ariana. Like I said, give me a pop music with a pop girl singing and I am sold. And Ariana Grande, I have been sold on that ponytail, the red hair forever. And I am having a hard time parting with it and being like, oh my God, maybe she's not the best. But what is going on? Like, really, like, what is going on? Like, this whole relationship just seems so weird to me, and I want to know more, but I don't want to know more. Like, it feels like a, like, forbidden thing. Like, I shouldn't be talking about it. Like, I feel like I shouldn't mention it. There shouldn't be, like, any buzz about it, but it's just weird. Like, if they're happy, great. Cool. Love that for them. But I just, like, I need to know how did this go down? Like, you guys were on the set of Wicked. It wasn't like they were on the set of 50 Shades of Grey. They're in Munchkin Land, and they're falling in love. Like, what? Like, this, it just doesn't make sense to me. Does not track. I don't know. I want to know. I want to know what went down in the wonderful land of Oz that made Ethan cheat on his wife. I mean, I get it. It's Ariana Grande, but, like, I don't know. It's interesting, and I'm kind of excited to see how it develops, but also I'm, like, looking at it with one eye closed and kind of, like, turning a blind eye. But nonetheless, Ariana, we're ready for the album, so I'm sure there'll be some information on there. So I'm waiting for it. We're all waiting, so we're excited. But yeah, definitely excited to see what's going on with Wicked 20 next week and kind of seeing what's in store. And like I said, there were two couples that I didn't really want to talk about, but I felt like with the current times I had to, and I, more than anything, am tired of hearing about these two, and it is Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. So they, obviously, Jada's memoir came out last week, I believe, and she's been doing press tours and this and that, so it is nonstop. And I think my biggest thing is the fact that, like, all this information is coming out of them not being together and them, you know, they've been separated, I want to say, for 7 years, and she keeps bringing up Tupac, and, like, we all know the whole history behind it, and if you don't, there's, like, she always kind of said that Tupac was, like, her soulmate, but he passed away, obviously, so it's just, like, a lot to really process, and then when you put another celebrity in the image, and then now their kids are celebrities, it's just, to look at it now, look at the last 7 years of them and think, like, oh, they weren't together. Like, they were split, and I mean, the slap, obviously, we're never going to stop hearing about it. Like, I feel like I'm going to be 85 years old and still hearing new things about when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. And I was tired of it 3 days after it happened, and I'm exhausted. I am 6 feet under, so tired of hearing about this slap. I wasn't tired about hearing of the two of them. I was fine. I was like, whatever, it is what it is. I'm done. I can't anymore. I can't. And that's my 2 cents. That is all I have to say, because I feel like if I keep doing this podcast and more things come out about them, I'm probably not going to comment on it. So if you're wondering why, here it is. I'm nipping it in the butt. I am 6 feet under with them, and I don't want to hear about it anymore. Now, on a brighter note, Britney Spears' book came out today, The Woman in Me, and I'm not finished with it yet. I think I want to say I'm on, like, chapter 14. I was at work today, obviously, so I listened to it a little bit, but I really want to, like, immerse into it and really listen. So where I'm at right now, she just got hired ended with the Mickey Mouse Club, so she's back home, and she's talking about the car accident that she got into because her mom found out she was smoking. She pulled her hand off the wheel. Again, this might be a spoiler. I don't know. Whatever. She essentially is telling the story about how she started smoking cigarettes. Her mom could smell it on her. After a few months, she pulled her hand off the wheel. They spun around, hit a pole. Nobody was hurt, so on and so forth. Not what I'm talking about. just kind of wanted to bring up to speed like where I'm at in the book, just to give you an idea if anyone else is reading, which I did a poll on my Instagram actually right before I started recording, and everyone who voted in it all said that they were reading it. So love to see that we're all on the right side of history, and love that we're all supporting women. But there's been snippets upon everything coming out the last week or so. So I think the biggest one really is the abortion story with Justin Timberlake, which I don't understand how Justin Timberlake has gotten away with this for so long. I was watching TikTok, I was scrolling, and I saw this thing that was like, Justin Timberlake did the whole thing with Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl. Everyone let it slide. Janet was banned from performing again when he's the one who ripped her titty out. Blah, 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 whatever. Things start coming about him from Britney. We see, all the stuff going on with him and his marriage. And, people are still kind of rallying, whatever. I get it. And trust me, if Suit and Tie comes on, and he makes Crimea River, if his music comes on, I'm gonna give a little two-step. I'm gonna tap my foot. I'm into it. I'm not anti that necessarily, but I'm just like, what is going on? How did all this stuff happen and no accountability? It's crazy to me. So I think now we're kind of seeing it come around, some karma. We've been, not we, I say we, I wasn't never a really big NSYNC fan to begin with. I was, again, always kind of with the girls. I was always, I loved Britney, I loved Christina, I loved Pink, I loved Nelly Furtado. I was very much listening to the girls over any of the boy bands growing up, and that's still kind of true. There's not too many male artists that I'm very into. But I know every single one of my friends is going to clip that and text me, be like, the Jonas Brothers ? Which we'll get into on another episode. But that being said, I feel like all these fans for years have been like, when is the NSYNC reunion happening? When is it happening? And the four of them were so on board, and Justin never wanted to do it. He gave us that teaser at the VMAs 10 years ago, and then just 2 months ago at the VMAs in August, they had the little comeback and promoted the Trolls movie, which was cute. And it kind of seemed like they were gearing up for a full reunion, a tour, maybe an album, or at least something that they were going to do. Maybe it was a mini tour, something, I don't know. And I feel like it's just gone completely under the rug because he finally bit the bullet and was like, you know what, maybe I should do this NSYNC reunion, and does it. And now all this information with Britney is coming out, and it is not a good time to be Justin Timberlake. And I honestly feel bad for the members of NSYNC, the other four of them, because they were ready to do it. They were everything was going. They recorded the Trolls song. They did the VMAs, the whole nine. And now it's just well, actually, we're right back where we started for the past however many years it's been. So karma is Britney's boyfriend. So I guess that's that on that. But I'm super, super excited to be listening to this book and kind of getting Britney's side of the story. I know it's kind of not skewed, but it was, and I could be wrong. So please correct me in the comments, wherever it is. But I believe this is her talking to a therapist and them writing the book from there. That's what I've gotten from what I've seen online. Nonetheless, I'm taking it as Britney's story. They fact check a lot of it. All of it is really, they can't publish a book without it being factual. So I'm sure the stories are all lining up with how things happened. And I think my favorite clip that I read today on Twitter, and again, this is a spoiler, but she makes a comment about growing up with Jamie Lynn was living an Ariana Grande song, because she saw it, she liked it, she wanted it, she got it, and it's kind of just adding fuel to the Jamie Lynn Spears is over party, and I'm very much here for that, because I can't, I can't get into it, but I'm super excited to kind of keep listening to this book. I will definitely finish it by the next time I record next week. So I'll give my full recap kind of on what I'm thinking and what I thought about it. But so far, so good. It's just kind of about her early life and childhood. So not really too far into her career just yet. She's been on the Mickey Mouse Club where I'm at, like I said, but not farther than that. The last thing I listened to, she was meeting with a producer. So I'm believing we're about to start getting into the Britney that we all knew and loved growing up. So I'm super stoked for that. And I'm kind of just excited to see, and hear the rest of her story from her side, because this is someone who the media has literally narrated her life for forever. Like, there's every headline you would see about Britney was like negative, and they were painting her as this crazy monster, and I'm like, well, look at the life she was forced to live. Like, it's I don't know, I can go on for hours about it, but I think it's better that we don't, or we save that for another episode where it's just dedicated to it, because it's crazy. But I'm so excited to finally be hearing Britney's side of the story, and I think it's hilarious the way that the narrator is doing it. It's just like hearing Britney's words through her. I don't know. I'm enjoying it a lot. So I'm excited to keep listening to it and finish it and give my full 2 cents and recap, hopefully by next week. And that actually brings me to the end of what pop culture things I wanted to talk about. So like I said, I'm not going to have a real limit of how many things each week I'm going to talk about. If there's 2 things I'm going to talk about, we're going to talk about 2 things and call it. If there's 10 things, I'm going to find a way to talk about all 10 of them. So it's really going to, we're going to volley. We're going to aim for 30 minutes to an hour each podcast. I'm thinking this one's going to be in a sweet spot in the middle, which not mad about, we'll take it. So to end things each week, I thought it would be fun to have a little segment called Yes and Mess. And that is pretty much just me giving you my yes of the week, so something I'm loving. And I'm not going to limit it. So it's not going to be, doesn't need to necessarily be a pop culture thing. So it could be, it might be a movie or a song or something that I'm loving, but it could also be like a place that I went to, or, a book I'm reading, or, it could be really anything that I'm just like loving from this week. And then on the flip side, a mess is going to be, the opposite, something I'm not loving so much, something that's just like rubbing me the wrong way. And my goal is to keep my yes and mess for the week separate from my stories, but if they overlap, they overlap. Today they happen to. My mess overlaps, but my yes is something not spoken about in this episode, and that is Troye Sivan's new album, Something to Give Each Other. One thing about me, Troye Sivan is selling it, I'm buying it. I have loved the kid since YouTube, like literally before he was making music. I was a subscriber. I remember like his coming out video was like a big deal for me because I wasn't out yet, so like that was my thing. I was like, oh my god, Troye came out, like it was a big deal for me, and kind of just been supporting him since then. And truly, I feel like all of his albums have really been like solid pieces of work. I can't really think of like one that I dislike more than the other, but this new one, Something to Give Each Other, that just came out, it is so good. I am obsessed. I can't get enough, and I'm just loving this new, I feel like he's really just like leaning into like the pop star fun, like gay like piece of it. Obviously he's always been gay, he's always been a pop star, but this album, I mean, he quite literally has a song called Rush, and he's quite literally doing drag in one of the videos, so like, you know what I'm saying. And I'm just loving it. I'm so excited. I've loved to like watch his journey from YouTube to TRXYE to Blue Neighborhood to Wild, then Blue Neighborhood, Bloom, In a Dream. Like the whole ride has been really cool to see, and just kind of like how his music and how he's evolved over the years. And it's just, yeah, it's really cool to see. So if you haven't listened to it yet, I definitely recommend checking it out and listening to it. I've had it on repeat literally since it came out. So super, super into that. And my mess of the week is Justin Timberlake, because I'm over it. I can't anymore. I think it's done. I think the NSYNC thing is over. They should just do it without him. I think enough is enough. Like, we've been following him forever. He was a 90s heartthrob. He did the whole thing, the boy band, did this or that. But I'm just like, I'm done. I think this Britney book needs to be the final straw. And I think, if they do end up doing an NSYNC reunion, I'm definitely going to look at it a little cockeyed, because I'm like, after all of that just came out, like, we're still doing this. And I get it. Like, people are going to support him. People are going to support NSYNC. I get it. I understand. Trust me. It's the nostalgia. It's exciting. And if you are just a Justin Timberlake fan, that's fine. That's your prerogative, not mine. Do your thing. Personally, I'm done. I can't. He's up there. He's with Will and Jada. I think I just don't want to hear about him anymore. Everything has been negative, and I'm over it. I'm done. Sorry. I'm sorry, Justin. I hope the other 4 members of NSYNC do their thing. I hope, this whole Britney book really brings a light to people being like, wow, like, just because I loved somebody before they were exposed for being a bad person or XYZ doesn't mean I have to continue. I don't know. I'm over it. I feel like, again, with him, we hear all these news stories come out, nothing comes of it. And I feel like this abortion one really put like a nail in the coffin for me. He was already kind of in it. Like it was teetering. It was like an open casket viewing, and now it's closed and it's, nail in the coffin. It's under. I'm done. And that's my mess. So as I said, this was my first episode, and if you are watching this on YouTube, I am smiling from ear to ear, headphone to headphone. This was so much fun, and it's just exciting to finally be doing this. That being said, we are a video podcast, so we do have videos for each episode, and our YouTube is just 2 Pop to Handle, as well as all of our socials. So follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, really all socials. We got lucky. We are just at 2 Pop to Handle, spelled the same way everywhere. So you can find us really easily. Shoot me a DM, shoot me a comment. Like, let's talk about your mess of the week. Let's talk about your yes of the week. Tell me what you thought about my stories or the podcast, things like that. I want to hear it. I want this to be fun, conversational, and be sure to subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Let's be optimistic. Give me a 5-star review if you're feeling generous. I know we're, only the first episode, so it's hard to give a rating, but it would really mean a lot, even just a review. And yeah, I'm excited to kind of keep this going. We're aiming for every Wednesday a new episode. If anything changes, I'll put a story up or something to let you guys know. But thank you so much for listening to the first episode. I hope you loved it, and I can't wait to talk to you guys soon.